Hey guys, welcome back to Ollie Talks Airsoft. Today we're going to be talking about how different gases can affect the FPS of your airsoft gun. So now that the weather in the UK is starting to heat up a little bit and we're getting into sort of like the high teens and the 20 degrees, some of the guns that we've been using sort of over the winter period are now chronoing a little bit hot. And a lot of the time, you know, people can be reluctant to dig into their gun and sort of change something internally in order to like drop the FPS. And actually quite a quick and easy way to drop FPS is usually just to change the kind of gas that you're using. So there are a few considerations that you want to have when doing this, and that is actually that some gas like this, the weaker 144A, which used to be called 134A, that was the CFC variant. So this is no CFCs, but it's a weaker gas, but it is a bit more expensive. So what we want to do is see how this particular gas stacks up against a pretty standard ASG Ultra Air Green gas, which is actually a lot cheaper per can. And then the middle ground that I've actually found to be really good is this 01 Pro gas, which I believe is Abbey gas. So I don't know whether they've changed the formula especially for 01, but certainly in my experience, you tend to, it feels like there's less recoil, especially when using like a Nutrol gas or something. Nutrol is pretty similar in my experience to like the Ultra Air, and that's pretty reminiscent of like all good quality green gas that you're going to want to be using. And I've actually found, and this is what we're testing today, I found the 01 to be somewhere in between these, and it also comes in at a really good price point. So I'm not advertised to say any of this, but I don't know, airsoft can get expensive when you're running a lot of gas. So I tend to bulk buy, you know, like a dozen of these at a time, and it's about like £80. So what's that, like £6 a can or something? 6, 7, someone can say in the comments. This one's about £5 a can. This is about a tenner. So slightly different volumes, I know, but ultimately like using the weaker gas is more expensive. But does it actually drop your FPS much? And could you get a similar FPS drop from changing from, say, the Nutrol or standard green gas and dropping it down to something like the 01 or the Abbey gas? So I figured the best way to test this was going to be to have one gun and 3 mags. And so last night I purged all of these gas mags for my M&P. So this is a gun that hasn't featured on the channel previously, so here it is. Might as well show it off a little bit. I'll do a proper review on this at some point, but needless to say, it is another stock Tokyo Marui pistol. I like it a lot, but that's not really what we're talking about today. What we're going to be looking at is the FPS consistencies and the fluctuations that we're going to get. So first thing I'm going to do is got some 0.2 gram BBs in my speed loader. So let's put some BBs into each mag. Okay, so that should be enough for us to test. Okay, so what I'm going to do is give it like a 3-second fill, because we're only going to be trying to get through a few rounds here. So straight down, 1, 2, 3, that'll do. Okay, next one, got the Pro Gas, same again, 1, 2, 3, that's it. And finally, the ASG gas, 1, 2, 3, that's it. Okay, so they're all gassed and loaded. I've got my chrono here, I've got my gun. Let's get the iPro on. Cool, that needs a clean, but never mind, it'll still stop me from any ricochets or any damage that might come through. So, chrono's on. Let's start with the one that we filled first. So this is the 144A gas. So that's 308.4. Time out. Time out. 287, 289, 288. So that really settled down there, and that's all of those rounds fired. Now let's try the Pro Gas. So a bit more of a kick there, definitely. So that's 323, 316, 314, 310, 306, 306, and 303. So definitely stronger than the 144A. And now let's go on to what I would consider to be a standard, like classic, good quality green gas. Okay, 326. That definitely kicked harder than the Pro Gas. 322, 316, 316, 308, 307, 307, and 307. Right. So, let me just go back through the results there, because my memory is not that good. Right, so gun's clear, everything's mags are out. I'm gonna get these off. So yeah, with the with this Pro Gas, we were sat, you know, right around the first shot was a 323, but that was the only one in the 320s. Then it was 316, 314, 310, 306, 306, 303. So straight down into the low low 300s. The Ultra Air Gas seemed to maintain a little bit more and never actually drop down quite as low. So maybe it's worth testing across a few other guns, but certainly on the face of it, it may not be much, but actually sometimes on the field, it doesn't take much. You know, if you're shooting at 355 feet per second and the limit is 350, then you can't play. And actually, a little difference like that may be the difference that you need. However, that being said, this is still weaker. The first shot that came out of it was 308, and then it was straight into the 280s. So, you know, if FPS is an issue for you, probably stick with the 144A. It is a slightly more expensive option, but however, if you're just like a couple of FPS and it's just, you know, like a couple of degrees warmer that day, you may very well be able to get away with doing what I often do and running the Pro Gas. So it's something, it kind of, I guess every platform is going to be different, every gun's going to be slightly different. Just turn my chrono off. Yeah, every gun's going to be a little bit different. So it's not, this isn't a perfect guide. I probably should have tested, you know, done a dozen guns. But I just thought, you know, maybe I want to put something kind of out there and say, actually, yeah, you do get those different FPS variations, and especially, like, I know, I'm not really, I haven't travelled enough. I've been to a few places, but certainly in the UK, the kind of temperature differences that we get are pretty dramatic. More so than you can probably offset with gas, to be perfectly honest. But it's a start. It's one of those things that if you turn up to a game and you think that you know that the last time you checked your gun, it was 10 degrees and you were just under the limit, then, you know, chances are you're going to want to look at maybe slightly different lower powered gas or something like that, or maybe fitting an M-Pass or a different rocket valve system or something like that. Speak to your local tech. I don't want to be responsible for messing up loads of people's guns, but certainly, like, using a weaker gas isn't really going to cause you too many problems, especially not when the weather heats up. So yeah, hopefully that helps some people out, and if it has, let me know in the comments. If not, never mind, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care.